So, hi guys. Yeah, hope so I'm clearly audible. And good morning, guys. And before starting the session, if you guys have any questions, basically you can unmute yourself and ask me the question, or you can ask me in the chat as well. Okay. So let's start with the session. My name is Ashish, and I'll briefly talk about myself. I am based in Mumbai, and I have completed my schooling from Mumbai itself. I have, regarding my education, uh, I have a bachelor's in mathematics, which I have completed from Ferguson College, Pune. Post that, I did a master's in mathematics and computing from IIT Guwahati. I worked as a faculty for mathematics for a year and prepared for PGDBA. And I'm from sixth batch of PGDBA. And after PGDBA, started working at Mastercard. And yep, I'm in the data science domain. Basically, I work in like different kinds of products, mainly related to macroeconomic product, which are basically related to data science and analytics and AI. So yeah, that was about me. And today's session is going to be about how one should prepare for PhDB interview. How this interview is basically different from other interviews like let's say CAT, etc. And I will briefly talk about my preparation strategy, that how I prepared for the interview. I will also touch upon that, how one can create your own interview plan, etc. Okay. Anything else you guys want me to touch upon, you can just let me know right now. You can unmute yourself. You can mention in the chat. Okay. All right. Uh, Internship and placement opportunities. Okay, we'll talk about that. Different profiles which are offered. What do you mean by different profiles which are offered? You mean the in the placement? Okay, after during the placement. Okay, different profiles. Okay. Saw something regarding the scholarship on the website. Okay, scholarship related to the fees, you mean, right? Okay. All right. So if anyone has any other questions, you can straight away mention them in the chat. Okay, I'll read and take the conversation forward. All right. So regarding my experience by taking PGDB interviews, like I have took like a lot of mocks. I have like interviewed lot of students. I've been interviewing like since 2022 itself, right? So I have came across wide varieties of profiles of students, and I have like that experience about telling if whether a student from a particular background, that what kind of things he or she needs to prepare, right? So if you have any doubts, please let me know in the chat. Okay, I'll be happy to help you guys. Okay, so let's start with the main question, which is how to prepare for the PGDP interview, right? uh See, this interview is first of all very different from like other interviews like CAT, etc. because it it has two parts. One is which is very general aspects of interview, and second is which is related to your profile, right? That what is your background? Let's take my example. My background was in mathematics and computer science, right? So if I used the same strategy as an engineering student, so I would not be able to crack the interview, right? So what I did was I basically connected with folks who were already preparing, or in the batch they have, in the like previous batches they are from my background. I reached out to those folks. I talked with them that how was their interview. I also talked with the folks from engineering background, and in that I came to know, no, the interview process is not same for like all the students. It is very different. It depends from profile to profile, right? So it is in two parts. One is very generic kind of uh, generic kind of questions, and one is very much dependent on your profile, right? And not just like engineering and science kind of. If in engineering you are from a particular department, so that bifurcation happens there as well. Okay, so this is at the top level difference in the interview process. So you might, some student has like the interviewer might ask a very simple, easy question related to some basic stats. But for a similar kind of student, the same question might not be asked because there is some change in his profile, a minute change in his or her profile, because the professor might be interested in testing you on something else, maybe which you have learned during your engineering, right? So in this interview, your preparation, like it takes a lot of time for preparing for this interview. And many students make a mistake of preparing during the like final like 15 or 30 days. So it's not possible to cover each and every aspects of interview during the last 15 or 30 days, right? So the generic kind of things which are covered in the interview are obviously your mathematics and statistics, which is very important, right? And if some student asks me that how much should I know? How much of mathematics and statistics should I know? Right. So there is no clear-cut answer to this question that how much you should know, but there is there are topics you must know compulsorily, mandatorily you must know. Like for example, uh, let's say linear algebra, right? You must know the concepts of linear algebra, the basic concepts of linear algebra thoroughly, right? And this also some students ask, oh, how much of linear algebra should I know? See, if you are from an engineering background, so it is not like possible for you to go through full linear algebra course. It is not. But you have learned some applications of linear algebra, right? So you must know that. Okay. But let's say if I am from a mathematics background. So I know full of linear algebra. But still the interviewer might not ask me that difficult questions, right? Because he will start with some basics, and the on average the interview is of let's say 30 minutes, and there are three professors, so each of them wants to test you, right? So it is not the time is not there to test on difficult questions. So it is always like I emphasize on that your basics must be clear. If your basics are only not clear, there is no point in asking how much should I know. There is a basic syllabus is there, you must know that basics. And any kind of questions if someone asks, you should be able to answer. Okay, like for example, they might start by asking you what is an eigenvalue or what is an eigenvector. If you're not able to clearly explain the definition of what is an eigenvalue and eigenvector, they might not go into the depths of it, that what are the applications, or give some metrics and try to find. They might not go. Okay. So the definitions in the basics of mathematics should be clear first of all. So if you are very comfortable, okay, with all the definitions, you are able to solve basic questions, you know the crux of the subject, what is going on, and now you have some time for the preparation, then you go for it. Okay, because sometimes what can happen is, and this is very rare case, right? If let's say if some professor asks you some basic questions and you just answer it in like 2 to 3 seconds, right? So the professor might get a hint, okay, you know the basics, and he might try to ask you some difficult questions. And he might ask you, oh, do you know about this concept? Or you do you know about this theorem? And if you say yes, then he might ask you, and that might be a difficult question. But it happens very rarely, right? And if you are from engineering, so it doesn't happen that much. But if you are from like statistics or a core mathematics background, it might happen, but it's very rare. Okay, so your basics must be very clear. And now if someone asks me, okay, basics is clear, so yeah, so there is not much things to do. No, in the basics also, there are wide varieties of questions which can be asked. So a maths question can be asked in a like in some puzzle way. Okay, so you need to prepare wide variety of questions, and it takes a lot of time. It's not just, okay, what was there in your 11, 12 standard, okay, there was a question, just solve it, right? This will not happen, that okay, just solve it. No. Okay, there will be some tricks in the question. The professor has prepared some questions, right? And the professors know where the students will make a mistake, right? So let's say there is a matrix questions, and in that matrix question, they will include a probability kind of question, right? In a matrix question, they will involve a permutation and combination kind of question. In a matrix question, they will involve a case study kind of question, right? And these things you are not prepared. So the best way to prepare is you prepare from previous year's interviews and wide varieties of questions. But the basics only. The concept is basic, but during the interview time, you are not able to like use that concept. Okay. So this was one part, which was mathematics and statistics. Now let's talking about statistics. Same question student asks, like, how much of statistics should I know, right? Should I know hypothesis testing? Or should I know like data analysis concepts? Should I know linear regression? Should I know multiple linear and so on and so forth? So again, it comes to your profile that if you have done those concepts during your graduation, okay, then you must know, okay, because you have done the course. Because if the professor goes through your mark sheets or whatever one pager you have sent, and he says, okay, this person has done advanced statistical concepts, so he will ask you, oh, you must be knowing linear algebra, and you cannot say no there, right? So you have to say yes. Okay, and then he might ask you, what are the assumptions of linear regression? Not linear algebra, sorry, linear regression, right? Write some equation of linear regression, explain what those variables are, etc. Okay. Let's say if a student does not have that kind of profile, has not done any kind of statistics during his graduation. So the student must know the basics. First of all, the basics. What kind of basics? The basic statistical concept, let's say measures of central tendency, measures of spread, etc. The definitions. Okay. Now the definitions are clear. How are these concepts useful? Where are these concepts used? Okay, these things, why these concepts are necessary. Okay, the main crux of it, not just the definitions, but you need to start with the definitions. If they ask you what is mean, okay, you need to clearly explain that what is the meaning of the word mean, what is the definition. Then they will ask you, okay, what is median, how mean and median are different, what are the advantages of mean, where is mean used, where we shouldn't use mean, where should we use median. Okay, these kinds of conversations can happen, so you must know. Once you know this, okay, the professor thinks, okay, this person knows. Then he might ask you, oh, do you know linear regression? Now you have never studied linear regression in your life, right? you have a choice here. Okay. If you have prepared for linear regression, you can say, yes, sir, for the interview purpose, I have prepared linear regression, but I have never like formally studied this concept during my graduation. So now the professor has a choice. He can ask you some basic question or he might not. Most of the time, professor will not ask you this question. Okay. Because you have not studied, right? And but still you have prepared. So some professor might test you. Okay, just tell me one assumption of linear regression, right equation of linear regression. That's it, which shows you are going beyond your preparation for the interview and you are actually a serious candidate. Okay, you are very serious about the course. This is what it shows. I'll pause here. If you guys have some questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask or in the chat.
Yeah, hi Ashish. Naveen here.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Naveen.
Yeah. So as you mentioned that even when if we mention that we are in the preparation, so that is fine. So the perspective wouldn't be like they expect you as a person with work experience, like already been an expert in that. Let's say I'm having 5 years of experience. So
Hmm.
they will not test upon our expertise.
Experience in like what? Analytics
Uh,
or
like,
some other?
partly in analytics. I think around it's around like 2 years. So and a couple of months in
Uh,
data science, AI.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so I'll come to the second part because the first part was generic, right? Everyone needs to
Mm-hmm.
prepare for maths and stats. Okay, then
Mm-hmm.
there comes the second part, which is very profile dependent. Okay, I'll come to that part. Do you have any questions related to this mathematics and statistics part? I know this is very much connected to your profile, right? Because of your analytics background, but I'll come to the profile part in. Okay. But I'm talking about right now is mathematics and statistics, the things which, let's say you are preparing for your exams as well, right? But during the interview also, it is important for you to know. And interview questions will be very different. You can go through the previous year's interviews. There is a website designated to these kinds of interview questions. You can see the questions are not that straightforward.
Okay.
Okay. So any question related to preparation of mathematics and statistics. And it takes time, okay, to know the concept. It takes time.
Hello, Ashish. Vishnu this side.
Yeah, yeah, hi,
So
Vishnu.
the generic part that you're talking about now, is
Hmm.
it also dependent on the profile? Like the depth of
No,
mathematics and statistics, do what we need to know? Is it dependent on the
yeah,
profile?
yeah, as I mentioned, it will depend on your profile, but the basics should be known to everyone. No one is going to directly jump on the advanced concept. No professor is going to jump on the advanced concept until and unless you answer all the questions like in a few seconds or like in 1 minute. Okay. And I will explain my questions also, like how was my interview also. Like I am from a mathematics background, right? So I was expecting that they ask me difficult mathematics questions, but I reached out to my senior who was in the first batch of PGDBA. He said no, they will not ask you difficult mathematics questions because they themselves don't know that much of mathematics. Okay, they are statistics professor, they don't know that much of mathematics. They will test you on basics, but as a mathematics student, they might have an impression about you that you are more into the abstract world, you don't know anything about the real world, what's going on. So read newspaper, read, be ready about current affairs and all. See, this is where the strategy like changed I was focusing on more of advanced mathematics, but someone told me, no, don't focus on that much because they are not going to ask. And this is what happened during the interview, right? They asked me basic differentiation and continuity definitions and asked me to solve some questions. And after that, they didn't even touch upon like any advanced stuff. They asked me some case-based questions. They asked me what is today's news, what's going on, who all are impacted by this lockdown, how will you solve this problem? These kinds of questions were asked to me. Even if I have a profile in like a from a quantitative background, right? So you think about this. So it is profile dependent, but it might not be always that case. But you need to prepare basics. If I was not able to answer the basics only, then no one is going to ask me advanced questions. Okay. And it's very rare that someone will ask you a difficult question. Okay. Got it, Vishnu?
Yes. And
And
one
this
more
is
thing.
for everybody. Yeah.
Like, can you give me a basic understanding of what is the expectation of the interviewer from a person, from a candidate who is appearing? Like,
So yeah,
does he want it?
yeah.
Does he want him to know everything from
No,
top
no,
to
no, no.
bottom, or?
No. So see, in my experience, few 2 years back, the expectation from the interviewer was that you must be interested in analytics and you must have passion about this analytics, PGDB, etc. Okay. If they see that you don't have this passion for analytics and you are just doing it just to get into IIM, if they know about this or they feel about this, then even if that your selection is might be difficult. This was few years back, right? But from last year I have observed that professors are not that much into, because they are like, oh, everyone knows about this course now, everyone knows what is analytics because rise of data science, AI, etc. So people know what they are into, what they are going to be into. So but this point needs to be considered that your interest in analytics should be the number one priority for the professor, whatever he or she is looking into. If that person is interested in analytics or data science, AI or not, this is number one thing. Number two thing is, no, you're not expected to know everything. Okay, you should, because if you know everything, then what is the course for, right? But you must know what you have, like what you have shown in your profile. You must know that part and the basics of mathematics and statistics, which you are preparing in your for your exams, right? That you must know. They will ask you, okay, in mathematics, what topics you have prepared. Okay, so you shouldn't say quadratic equations. Okay, you should say I have prepared linear algebra, I have prepared probability, I have prepared calculus. Okay, which tells them, oh, you are a confident candidate, and they will ask you some start with basics questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Uttam is asking which website is that? Okay, I'll share the website, or if anyone from the team can share the interview prep website on the chat. Do you recommend any books or YouTube videos for this which we can blindly follow? Yeah, there are a lot of YouTube videos or books blindly follow. So we have a book, okay, which I have shared with Shailesh. I think that is one of the best books anyone can have, even if you have, let's say, less than 1 month for preparation. That is because I have passed actuarial statistics paper, so it is the actuarial statistics from IFOA UK, which is one of the best books to cover statistics. But for mathematics, I guess your +2 level books are more than enough. Any IIT JEE book is more than enough for mathematics. But for statistics, there are not many books. And on YouTube, you can follow like any whichever channel has covered all possible basic concepts. Follow any channel. Okay. Pritesh is also asking if someone is from analytics background, what kind of questions one? Yes, I'll come to this when I'll talk about profile-based questions. Naveen, I'm confused to choose in between CAT, MBA and PGDBA, currently working data science with nearly 5 years of experience, which could add more value in long run to grow in leadership consulting. Please share your opinions, post MBA, study for it. Okay. Okay. So I'll cover this part at the end. Okay. If someone is confused between MBA and PGDBA, like which I feel is best in the long run. Okay, anything else? Okay, right, noted. Okay, so this was about mathematics and statistics part. There is one more dimension to this generic aspects, which is current affairs, your general knowledge, right? Everyone must know this part, and this is very generic. In any interview, basically, you must know these. You must have knowledge, general knowledge about your city or your college where you have studied, your state maybe, okay, about India, right? You must know this about this general knowledge. Why you must know? Because it will help you in answering case study based questions, right? Let's say if I ask a question like how many red color four-wheelers are there in your city? You need to estimate number of red color cars, let's say in your city, right? So if you don't know let's say population in your city, you don't have an estimate, a guess about your population in your city, then it will be slightly difficult for you to answer such questions, right? So that's why no one is going to ask what is population of your city, right? But you must know, right, basics of your like general knowledge or these numbers, you must know, which will help you in case estimates and case studies, right? And current affairs, yes, you must know current affairs, what's going on. You must know basics of like economics, slightly basics of like economics, what are interest rates, how interest increasing and decreasing interest rates work, how it is connected to inflation, uh, what are the steps taken by RBI, right, about the interest rate, what is the monetary policy. You must also know about the budget, right? Uh, this is one thing. Second thing is you must know about the Federal Reserve, how their decision impact uh, other central banks globally. Basics of this you must know. I'm talking about economics. You must know about wars, right? Uh, the global wars, what's going on, what is the scenario. You must know about the banking crisis, if any bank failures, how it affects the economy, if there is, right, during this 1 year of time, right? So you must know these parts. Anything happening globally, you must know. It's very important. And also nationally, some national news, you must know. Okay. As an example, I'll tell you. So there were candidates who used to play chess, who were chess players, right? And if I ask them a question, tell me some news going on, like current affairs or anything which you are updated on, right? So they used to tell a lot of things. But last year there was candidates tournament going on. They were not mentioning about candidates tournament. So if it was a actual interview and I'm the interviewer, I say, you mentioned that you are a chess player and you don't know about the candidates tournament. Then the candidate says, no, I know about the candidates tournament. It's what is going on. And just mention about that, because it's very contrary to your introduction and what you are answering, right? If you are a chess player, then you must know. If you are interested in sports or cricket, then you must mention something about sports, etc. Right? It is on your, like, it depends on you. that what you like answer about a general question. Tell me something about the global news or something like this. Okay, keep this in mind. You must know about these points. Next is you must know, you should be aware about what's going on in the AI domain. Any controversy in the AI domain, you must know. Any new technology, any new model coming up, you must know. How ChatGPT works, basics, right? You must know. Are you using, if I ask someone this question for this interview, have you used ChatGPT? How much have you used ChatGPT for your preparation? Some candidates say, no, I have not used ChatGPT. The professor also, so you are going in the analytics and data science domain. And all right. So, yes. So I was talking about that you must know, if you are in your introduction, you have mentioned something about your hobby or interest. You must connect that with, you must know what's going on during that time in that particular domain, right? And especially don't forget to go through anything related to AI, data science, analytics, any news. Okay. All right. Don't forget this part, because if you are going into this domain, then you must know. If the interviewer asks you, okay, tell me something about the recent developments in AI. Okay, so you must be able to answer. Okay. Uh, there is a hypothesis that as there will be rise of AI, so that it will affect number of jobs. What is your take on this? Right. So you need to prepare. You should have some stance on these kind of, let's say, controversial questions. Okay. Ethics of AI. Okay. You must know that how are we creating rules and regulations for organizations who are using AI, right? So you must have some stance on such questions as well. Don't take sides, but you should be able to answer in a neutral way. And for that, you need to prepare, right? Okay, so I'll pause here again. All right. So what, summarizing: mathematics, statistics, general knowledge, current affairs, your about whatever in your introduction, if you have mentioned some interest about that particular topic, and then wars, global news, okay, you must know, and then AI, data science, and analytics. Everyone must know this, should be prepared on this fronts. Okay.
Ashish.
Yeah. Yes.
So just one question. You spoke about knowing about the city I live in or I studied. So if I'm from a city and I've studied in different cities and then
Right.
relocated for a job into a different city, so should I know about all of the cities?
Uh, so it's safe to know about all the cities, because they might ask you, okay, where are you based right now? Okay. And if you mention your current city, then they might ask you a case-based question on of that on that city, right? If you say during your introduction you are from this city, they might ask you from that city. So if it is a major city, right? Then
Yeah.
it's safe to know, right? It is just like to know, just not the exact number, but a estimate you should have about the population, that let's say who is the MLA, right? Because preparation means it's one time preparation, right? You must, anything can be asked. So you need to be confident on your preparation. If you're confident, then it's very easy. Okay. So I'm saying yes, you must know, because the question can be asked like through like any angle or from any story which you will explain during like in your intro, right? So yes, you must know.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. The second part is about your profile, right? Now your profile will be from a, let's say, analytics background or from a non-analytics background, right? And by analytics background, I mean is either you have a work experience in that analytics background, means you don't have a formal education, like a education in some statistics or mathematics or computer science kind of degree. You have, let's say, in some other domain, but you are working in data science and analytics. This is also considered as an analytics background, right? Then let's say if you are a fresher or you have less experience, but you are from, let's say, mathematics, statistics, or computer science background, then also this profile is considered as an analytics background, right? Because for such students, it's easy, slightly easy to be in or follow the PGDBA curriculum, right? But if do such profiles have advantage, we'll talk about that. Next, we have non-analytics background, right? So non-analytics background means anyone who doesn't have any knowledge or experience in analytics or related to core subjects like mathematics, statistics, or computer science. These are the students who are working in some other domain only. They don't have any experience, any exposure to analytics, right? So profiles are divided in these two buckets, right? Now, to answer the question, do analytics folks have an advantage? The answer is yes. They do have an advantage, right? But does PGDBA wants all the students in the batch from an analytics background? The answer is no. Okay, they want diversity in the batch, right? It is not that PGDBA is going to give advantage to the students. I am saying students have an advantage, right? But PGDBA is not going to give any advantage to students from an analytics background. No, but the students have an advantage in preparation. They already know the concepts. Studying becomes easy for them, right? They are more confident on answering the questions, right? That's why they have an advantage over other students, right? But that doesn't mean that selection or like in the interview, they are going to be treated differently. No, that is not going to happen. Okay, so this was one point. Now, if I talk about, first of all, about people from analytics background, right? So whoever is from an analytics background, so expect questions, because you are into the applied field, expect some difficult questions, right? Uh, Difficult conceptual questions related to data science or statistics. Okay, maybe case study based questions, right? Like example, I'll give you. There was a candidate again who was whose hobby was to play chess, right? And he had around 5 to 8 years of experience in data science. So I took his mock basically, and I asked him a question related to chess, like some combination kind of question, and a case study based on he likes chess and he has a good amount of experience in data science. So there is no way I'll ask him, tell me what is linear regression. He knows linear regression. I know that. Okay. Some case-based questions related to chess and data science, right? I asked him during the mock, and similar kind of question was asked him during the interview as well, right? Because he has good amount of experience, but those questions are very difficult to answer. You have less amount of time. You need to think very quickly about the solution. You need to show that you are progressing towards the solution, right? So for such candidates who have 5 to 8 years, or let's say at least 5 years of experience, you will get some difficult questions. Okay, not just conceptual, but case study based kinds of questions. Okay, so you need to prepare your profile as well as some concepts. Okay, and it's very difficult that you can prepare all possible kinds of questions, right? But no, you need to be prepared in such a way that during the interview, if any weird kind of questions is asked, that's why you need to do lot of mocks. Okay, you need to do lot. Like during my time, I remember I did at least means 50 mocks. Okay, I used to my sister used to take my mock, my friends used to take my mock, right? So because any weird kind of questions are expected in this interview, right? Even if you go through the previous year's interviews, okay, your interview will be one of a kind. How will you implement AI and ML to play chess? Is that the question? It was there in PYQ. No, so this was not the question asked. Uh, I don't remember exactly what question I asked, and neither do I remember what was the question asked in the interview. But the candidate reached out to me after his interview that he said similar kind of question was asked to me. Right? As an example, I give. Okay, so your profile is very important. I am emphasizing that your whatever you are from your like where are you based, what was your education, what have you done, where are you working, what you like, what are your extracurriculars, and everything. Your story is very okay. So this was for 5 to 8 years of experience. Let's say now for 2 to 5 years of work ex kind of candidates in analytics. Okay, we are still in analytics. If anyone is here from analytics, for them also such case studies are expected, but not that much. Okay, because they are in the domain for like less than 5 years or less or 3 years or so. For them, these conceptual questions. Okay, have you used linear regression in your work experience? Okay, have you used that? What were the assumptions? What if one assumption fails? What did you do? Right? What was the evaluation metric you used? Why did you use that evaluation metric? Right? Have you used neural networks? Uh, is it okay to use neural networks on tabular data? Why should you, when should you use neural networks? uh, some question, because you are in that field, right? So these kinds of questions are expected to you. It's not that if someone is into forecasting, there was a candidate who was doing forecasting, right? So how is forecasting, how is prediction different from a forecast? Okay, what is ARIMA model, right? What are the, in ARIMA, what are the PDQ numbers mean, right? How do you assess if it is a good forecast? How will, if you want to forecast for a short period of time, what kind of models will you use? If you want to focus for a long period or medium term, what models will you use? Right? Such questions. If you are in that field, right? Means if you are using that in your work experience, what kind of statistics are you using? Right? Such kind of questions are 100% expected if you have that work experience. Okay, so you need to be prepared on that. Now let's talk about people from, let's say, less than 1 year or 2 year kind of experience, right? For these students, they basically ask you on the, like I mentioned, right, basics of statistics and mathematics. They will try to ask you something more related to the basics of statistics. Okay, they might dig deeper into that if you know the concepts really well or not. For example, let's talk about linear regression. Okay, so you will say, yes, I know linear regression. Then do you know logistic regression? Yes, I know logistic regression. What is the difference between logistic regression and linear regression? Or they might ask you, what is the definition of regression? So if someone will say, oh, regression we apply on like real numbers or floating point numbers kind of data, and logistic regression we apply for if there is some categorical dependent variable, 1, 0, ABC kind of thing. Something like that, let's say you explain. And they ask you, oh, if that is the case, then why is the word regression there in logistic regression? Can you apply logistic regression on a real number kind of data? Something like that, trying to confuse you, right? if you can use logistic regression on a real numbers kind of data, or can you use linear regression on a categorical kind of dependent variable. Something to confuse you, right? What is your take on this? You know the concept, you are prepared, but let's test you something more, right? Something like that. If you, let's say in machine learning, let's say they will ask you, oh, do you know tree-based models? You will say, yes, you know tree-based models. Then they will ask you, oh, how is linear regression different from a tree-based model? Let's say a random forest, okay, or decision tree. What is a decision tree? Explain decision tree to a layman, as an example. Okay, such question. They might not go into the depths of how you're using it in your organization, but they can still ask, how are you using statistics? Okay, in your work experience, how are you using statistics? How are you using these models? They can ask you such questions. Okay, so any questions here? Anyone from analytics background? 1 year, 2 year, 5 years of experience? Okay.
What if
Yeah.
what if I have studied analytics and don't have work experience?
Okay, so this is special kind of students. I have came across such students as well. So they have done machine learning statistics in their graduation, but they are working in some different domain, right? So now here if the professor sees that you have done a course in some data science kind of subject is there, right? Or if they see that statistics is there, then they will definitely try to ask you on statistics. See, the purpose of the interview is not to check how much of data science you know. The purpose of the interview is whatever information you have told about you, okay, they just want to verify it. Okay, you know this or not. Now, in your case, if you have done some statistics or basics of machine learning, and if they came across that, then no one is going to stop them by asking you that question, right? Now, here also one thing matters is, okay, if you were in college 3 to 4 years back, let's say, right? So they might not ask you, okay, you don't know, you have studied it way back. They might not ask you. But if some professor, it depends on your panel as well, right? They will say, oh, you have done basics of ML, so I would like to ask you some questions. No one can stop the professor to ask, right? So yes, they can ask you such questions. Anything related to profile, you must know. And if statistics and machine learning comes into your profile, then you must know. There is no other way that, oh, you can skip. No, you must know that part. If you are from some chemical engineering, let's say, or some, then you must know thermodynamics. They can ask you basics of thermodynamics. No one can stop them, right? If you are from some physical chemistry or some mechanical engineering, you must know some subjects. There might be some your favorite subjects, right? You must know. So yes, you must know whatever is there in your profile. They will ask you, even if you are working in somewhere else. Okay. But if you are working from 4 or 5 years and you are into completely different domain, then you come under the second category of non-analytics background, right? Then they might ask you more about your work experience, but they can ask you analytics or machine learning as well. So you need to prepare. Uttam, Aditya, and Pram, right? You three are, I guess, from you have studied the subjects, but you are into the different domain, right? So you must know basics of machine learning statistics because you have
Hello,
studied.
sir.
Yeah,
I am Anis, and I am a mechanical engineer, 2018 pass out. Post which I joined joined as a web search evaluator as a part-time job, where we train different models of search, Google search engines like the Gemini, YouTube search engine algorithm, and all. It was a part-time job. In 2019, I joined a full-time job as an energy audit at an energy audit firm. due to an accident, I quit by 2022. Post which I was continuing my work as a web search evaluator along with some trading, stock market trading. So, what all should I prepare for this?
So, what all things are you going to mention in your profile? I'm repeating
Actually,
myself. Anything, are you going to mention about this part-time web search thing in your profile that you have done?
Actually, after 2022, I haven't worked due to my treatment and stuff. So there will be a gap of 3 years, which I need to cover, right?
You need to justify that 3 years gap.
Yeah.
So Anis, like this is a very case-based question. I think I'll get back to you. Okay, we can discuss about this separately. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right. So yeah, regarding this particular question, so yes, last year I have observed there were candidates who were from AIML background, means during their coursework, but they were working in some other domain, and yeah, questions were asked from statistics and AI. So you need to be comfortable in the basics. Basics, very important.
So this
Any other
role as
question?
a web search evaluator doesn't need me to know the base. Actually, I just need to rate it. There will be a slider and stuff, and I need to rate which side is better based on the previous queries which people asked on YouTube or
So
Google
Anis,
search
do you
engine.
have during your like you said you are from mechanical background, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if I ask you, have you done any kind of statistics or data science in your work experience? Will you say yes or no?
No,
No. So if you
I
say
haven't.
no, then no one is going to basically ask you any stats or
Okay.
data science questions.
My real full-time work also related to collecting data and energy audits and green audits. We
Right.
collect data and identify trends to improve energy efficiency and stuff. So
Right. So you can explain about your work experience, right? What your work was about, what was your role in that, what problem were you solving? That is a completely different question. And all the candidates who have had work experience will be asked this question, right? What was your role about? What did you do? Okay. But let's say the ISI professor will be more interested in, have you used any kind of statistics or data science? If you have used, then he might ask you, okay, you have used this concept. How are you using that in your work experience? Just explain. That's it. If you have not used, then he will not go into the depths of it. He will ask you the basic statistics and mathematics. That's it. Right.
okay.
Nowadays, everyone is using ChatGPT or any large language, but that doesn't make them a data science person, right? Everyone is using
Yeah.
Data science means data science concepts, right? Are you developing products like ChatGPT? Are you developing models like, let's say, some new architectures in neural network, etc. Something. Okay, that is a completely different part than just using some large language or generative AI models, right? Okay. So let's come to the second part. Now I have covered the analytics part. Second part is profiles who don't have any kind of work experience in analytics. They don't have a background in educational background in analytics. They don't have work experience background in analytics, right? So for these students, the first part, the basics of mathematics, statistics is very important, because then only the professor or the interviewers know that yes, you are interested in this field. You are prepared for this field. Right? Because there is no way for them to know that you are prepared, you are interested or not, right? You must know the basics. Okay. Second is, whatever work you are doing in your organization, you should be able to explain that in a very basic way. because I have observed students going into the technicalities of that, and I'm not able to understand what their work is about, right? And if I'm not able to understand, I don't think the professor will be able to understand what you're talking about, right? Because if I don't know what your work is about, then I will not go into the depths of it, that what was your role, what did you do, what problem you solved, right? And you want that to happen, right? You want the professor or the interviewer to ask you in-depth questions about your role, which shows that the interviewer is interested in you, he wants to know about you. So you should be able to like explain it in a very layman terms. If you have worked in multiple organizations or multiple roles, then you must be able to tell your story in a very crisp and a very layman kind of language. Okay, because they are not HR, or they are not any organization people from some other organ. They are professors, right? So you need to explain that in a very brief and very layman terms. Okay. And here you will not have any kind of statistics or data science background, right? So whatever your profile is, you must be ready with follow-up questions. Okay, how did this thing happen? How did this thing happen? Right? And here also, for these students, again, some case-based questions are expected. Okay, they will give you, but they will be very different from the case-based questions asked to the analytics folks. Okay, to the analytics folks, they will be slightly difficult, but for you guys, they will not be that difficult. Okay, but they will be according to like they want to test you. If a random question is posed in front of you, how you manage that question, right? How you basically tackle that question, how you create a procedure to solve that question, right? And that's why, again, the basics, the part one which I explained, you should know the general knowledge about your city, state, etc., right? So such questions are expected. And now, like Anis was explaining about his profile, right? So again, when you go through your profile, any follow-up questions might be expected. Like if you have changed into like different domains, your profile is of some A domain, then you have switched to some new domain, then again you have switched to a new domain. Such questions will be, oh, why you are working in some unrelated domains where you're not clear about your career. So such questions are expected. If there is a gap, let's say, and if they came across that gap, they might ask you, oh, why was there a gap? If someone has gap, don't worry about that gap, but you must have some answer related to your gap, right? So this is what a student with a non-analytics from educational as well as work experience background is expected. You are not expected to know any kind of advanced machine learning or any kind of advanced statistics. Okay. Any questions here?
So even if the gap is for like 1 year, it's still relevant to
Yeah,
directly know.
I know students who have gap of like they are preparing for UPSC. Okay. And you know, if someone is preparing for UPSC, they will have easily 2 to 3 years of gap, right? And still they have cracked PGDBA. Okay. So gap is not the problem, but if they ask you about the gap and what is your answer, that is very important. How you answer and your preparation, that answer is very important. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so I have talked about my introduction. You guys know me. I have also talked about my experience in taking this PGDBA mocks. I have also talked about how you guys can prepare for PGDBA interview. And you guys now know that how this interview is different from other interviews as well, right? Now I would like to touch upon that how I prepared for the interview, right? And how by following a similar strategy, you can create your own interview strategy, right? I'll talk about this. And then we can go through the questions which were asked before, right? Okay. So as I mentioned, I did around 50 mocks. Okay. I don't know that you have to do lot of mocks for this interview, right? Uh, so starting with my preparation strategy. So first of all, my background, you guys know that my background is from a quantitative background, which comes under core analytics background. I already know mathematics, statistics. I know coding. I have done. Let's say I have completed my master's in mathematics and computing. Right. So what all I know mathematics. I know statistics. I can code as well. Right. I am prepared for PGDBA syllabus. Let's say. Right. Now I just want to let the interviewer know that I am interested in analytics and specifically PGDBA, right? So my introduction, tell me something about yourself. Walk me through your CV. Okay. This introduction is very important in PGDBA. Very, very important, right? You need to tell them who are you, what are you, what is your background, educational background, uh, what is your work experience background, right? What are your extracurricular activities, right? This introduction is very important, right? And you should be able, and your story must, like, the blocks must fit really well, right? You shouldn't They shouldn't be like, this is like a very general candidate with this. No, right? Your extracurriculars make you a different candidate, right? Mention them. If you don't have anything, don't mention. But if you have, you mention about your extracurricular. It is very important. Next, why PGDBA and why you want to get into analytics? These questions are very important. Why PGDBA is very important for students who already have an analytics background, and why analytics and why PGDBA, both the questions are important for students coming from non-analytics background. Introduce yourself is important for everybody, right? But introduce yourself, why analytics, why data science, why analytics, and why PGDBA. These three questions you need to prepare extensively. Extensively you need to prepare, right? And these were the questions which basically I also prepared, right? My interview happened during the lockdown phase actually, right? And your interview will be in person, right? So, but the questions will not change that much. Okay. I'm not saying that these three questions will be like definitely asked to you, but these three are the questions which will basically help you in preparing the other questions, right? Because if you are not prepared in these three questions, then it shows that you are not basically serious about the course or your career, let's say. Okay, so these three questions are very important. Next, okay, now my background is from mathematics. Okay, I will find a candidate who has already done PGDBA, who is already enrolled in the PGDBA curriculum. I'll find such candidates from LinkedIn background. So I will reach out to candidates who have, let's say, done mathematics, physics, economics, because these are like different background students and diverse, because in PGDBA diversity is important, right? So I'll reach out to these students. So if you are from some background of, let's say, mechanical, and let's say you have worked in some organization, and try to find candidates who are from PGDBA but work in similar or the same organization. Try to find candidates like you. This is very important. Okay, try to find candidates like you. Now I have found few candidates, or I have found one candidate like who is similar to me. I will reach out to him, okay, and I will start from there. Okay, how was his interview? What questions were asked to him? right? What was his strategy? Okay, I will not start from the website where you have all the interview questions, because it will lead to like information overload. I will think all the questions are important for my preparation. Okay, so that will take a lot of time. I'm not saying you don't have to do that, you have to do that, but first find candidates who have same profile, similar profile like you, and you can do it from that website as well. Okay, you can try to find, you can go through few profiles quickly and try to reach out to those candidates. So this is what I'll do. I'll connect with them on a phone call, on Google Meet, Zoom call, something, and take help from such candidates. I'll ask few questions like, how was your interview? What questions were asked? How did you prepare? How should I prepare? Etc. Like, this is very important. Like, I connected with the guy from first batch, right? And I asked him that I'm preparing how much of advanced mathematics I should prepare. He said, no, there is no need to prepare any advanced mathematics. It's, oh, why is that? Because he said, no, the professor themselves don't know, because he is in the batch, right? He knows how much the professors or how much the interviewer knows. So don't prepare any advancing, prepare only basic of mathematics. And I will tell you, they asked me only +2 level mathematics. Hardly one or two questions were asked from graduation mathematics. That too were definitions. Okay, they didn't ask me any advancements. But he said, see, Ashish, there is a thinking in the professor's mind that a quantitative background student will be in some abstract world. He only know how to solve questions on a piece of paper, right? He doesn't know what's going on around um, that himself, right? And that was the case. I was not connected with the world. I was not reading newspapers. I don't know what's going on, right? And then I started reading newspapers. I started what is the top 10 headlines globally or in the RBI, etc. And I will tell you, the IM faculty asked me a question that tell me some news which you have read today, right? So direct question was asked, right? So, and this only happened because I connected with a candidate who already, like, who is similar to me, and I got a good guidance. If I would have also gone through the website of all the questions, then I would have never prepared fully or never had any kind of strategy, right? Then prepare accordingly, right? Prepare case question, because you are from a core analytics background, but again, they might feel that you are from you are in the abstract world. To prepare case-based questions. As an example, this was my strategy. Next, I used to come in front of camera and I used to record myself giving like introduction, why PGDBA, why analytics, right? Because my interview happened online. But you guys can also follow this process, right? I still have the recordings with me. How I used to prepare. I used to be very much like, I used to change my sentences, how I speak. And now you have ChatGPT. Make use of ChatGPT in framing your interview. Like last year, there was one candidate who is in like current batch of PGDBA. Her introduction was not that great, right? And it was very difficult for her to prepare that way. So we make use of ChatGPT, and using ChatGPT, we prepared a fabulous intro for her, right? Because there were many in between questions which an interviewer can ask, and she was not comfortable in answering those questions. So we framed the introduction in that way. So make use of ChatGPT and Gen AI and anything which you guys are comfortable with. Okay, please make use of that. Then mocks. You need to give lot of mocks. I gave more than 50 mocks. Okay, but I gave it to like my, let's say, sister, relatives, friends, and family. Right. Together there were around 50 mocks. but you decide how many mocks are required for you, right? I cannot give you a number that how many mocks are actually required on like on average, how many mocks are required for a particular candidate. But it depends on you how much prepared you are, but do as many mocks required. Okay. And like it's very important to give mocks. Okay. I cannot emphasize more, but mocks. I'll pause here. Any questions? Okay. All right. So there were few questions at the start of the call. I obviously cannot see this in this chat. So can you guys like send me the message again in the first chat, or anything which I have not covered for any one of you, if you guys can. I remember one question which was asked that you have an analytics experience, that MBA versus PGDBA, right? What is the future MBA versus PGDBA? See, I'll tell you that PGDBA is like not one of the best, like it is the top course in our country, right? And it is the only course which has which is which prepare students like for industry ready students, right? So first of all, the comparison between PGDBA and MBA doesn't make sense, right? Because one is PGDBA takes you into analytics straight away, right? But not MBA. If you have done MBA and you are into some analytics field, I don't think that that person is doing actual analytics, because there are levels of analytics which you do. There are guys who just work on Excel and they do fabulous analytics. Good. But there are guys who deal with data which you cannot even open on Excel. You have to do on a, like it's a big data problem. Like me, I work on big data, right? Where normal basic analytics or tools will not work, right? Uh, so there is no comparison, first of all. But future growth wise, I feel that if you have an analytics mindset, you can do coding, you like technology, uh, you like solving difficult problems using data, right? Then you should go for PGDBA, 100%, right? And if someone has a doubt, oh, I don't know tech, I cannot code, how will I code? I don't want to go into this technological thing, and you have some doubt, okay, then don't go for PGDBA. Okay. What else you can do? I don't know. But if you have some doubt in these uh, things, then don't go, because PGDBA is very extensive. Like it's not easy. It's more difficult than an MBA course. Um, so it's very technologically intensive, right? It is very mathematically intensive, uh, but it's very enjoyable. Okay, but you must be interested to do. You must. After PGDBA, you will be a different person overall. Same for MBA. If you are doing from an IM, if you are in IM, once you get into IM, you will be a completely different person. But PGDBA is more extensive than MBA. I can debate with any MBA guy from IM. PGDBA is not easy. Okay. But future long-term perspective, I guess PGDBA is going to be the future as compared to any MBA. Because one thing is that all the MBA folks are always talking about analytics, right? So they want to get into this field, but they can't because the amount of knowledge, expertise, tools, you must know a lot of things here. You must know the business aspects also. Like I work in the payments ecosystem, so I must know Python, R, coding, PySpark, everything. But I also need to know how the payment ecosystem works, right? On the other hand, some consultant will only be worried about how the payment ecosystem works, how will we bring new clients, etc. Not the tech part of it. And if you are in this analytics field or data science field, so you are means you are into the decision making role because you are an expert, right? You know the data aspects of it. Without your involvement, no project is going to move ahead, right? Because it all starts with data pulling. If people from analytics here know, right? You must know SQL, you must pull data, after which only you can do any kind of an analysis or analytics, right? Uh, so yeah, so this was the difference. But if you have any doubt, you want to work with people more, let's say, right? You don't want to work in tech. So I think then you should go for MBA. But like for me, I want to work with tech more in the start of my career. I want to know everything about what's happening in the technology. But after a few years of experience, I might want to work with people more. So this like majority of, not majority, lot of people from PGDBA are into such roles now, managerial positions, which where they don't work with tech anymore. But the reverse is not possible. If you are working with some like people based roles, and now you want to learn tech, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult, right, to go that way. But from PGDBA, you can always do that. So there is an advantage of doing PGDBA. But it's difficult, it's challenging, right? But it's enjoyable as well. Like for me, the best semester was in IIM Calcutta because I didn't know, I'm from a quantitative background, right? So I never did any kind of case studies. I never solved business challenges. I never did that. So it was very enjoyable for me. And yeah, I enjoyed that semester a lot. Statistics at ISI Calcutta was not difficult for me because I am already from that background, right? Coding and tech part from IIT Kharagpur was also not that difficult for me because some of the aspects I already did, right? Uh, but it's not about being difficult or not. It's like you need to accept that it's difficult, study, and move ahead, right? You need to participate in data science competitions, business case studies, right? So to make your profile stronger. So this was it. I think I have answered the question, whoever asked this question, right? I think I don't know the name, but whoever asked these questions, do you have any other question related to this? Okay, I'll talk about the placement and internship opportunities and also regarding scholarship. So scholarship is there, and it is for students who come below some income bracket. What is that income bracket? I don't know. Once you get into PGDBA, you might know, or you can just maybe Google it if you can get on the website. Like there is some scholarship, but it is for only them who are fall below some income bracket, right? There is scholarship. Placements and internship opportunities. So you can basically go on LinkedIn and follow the PGDBA placement cell. You can get about the internship and placement opportunities there, the actual numbers, right? I would like to talk about this is internship opportunities are really good. Sorry, placement opportunities are also really good. And as if I compare this with MBAs, I think MBA in big IIMs, the batch size is 400 or more than 400, but here the batch size is only 62 or 60, let's say. So majority, like the placement is 100%. You can check out historic numbers as well. The placement reports, the placement is 100%. Right. So, yep. Anything else here you want me to touch upon? The numbers are on the LinkedIn or on the website. You can check. Okay. What are the different kinds of profiles offered during placement? Is it more data science or business? Okay. So, the job profiles vary, right? They vary based on if anyone wants to go more into technology, right? They can work in that tech field. And second is they want some tech stuff, but they more want a people oriented kind of profiles. Like, for example, as you mentioned, a data scientist role. A data scientist role will be, and it also depends on organization, right? How they have prepared their JD. Okay, if let's say if there is a data scientist for organization A, then that person might work solely on the tech aspects. But for an organization B, maybe that candidate is working 50-50, 50% tech, 50% client facing role. So it depends on the organization also. But overall, it is tech or some tech and some business aspects like consultants, analytics consultants, right? Business analysts, etc. Right. So these two roles are there. For some candidates, if they want to go into core management, such organizations also come, but they are very few. Okay, because PGDBA doesn't want them to be confused about the curriculum and course, right? But they are very few. Means if some candidate requires, so I want to go into some management role only. Okay, they are very few. So I'm not saying that there are, but they are very few. It depends, right? But majority of them are for AI, data science, analytics only. 98 to 99% will be these roles only. They will be data scientists, they will be consultants, there will be analysts, such kind of roles. Is there any company which visits product managers? So, product managers, I'm not sure about this, right? But you can go through the placement brochure or prospectus, because every year new organizations come, right? But on average, no, product managers, like such roles are not, majority of roles are not like of product manager. Majority are of data scientist, analyst, consultants, etc. Anything else? What happens during the last 6 months? So last 6 months is your internship. So the course starts like there is a short semester at IIM Calcutta, wherein you are taught all basic aspects of business analytics. Okay, it's a very short pre-semester, we call it. In that you have different courses, organizational behavior, communication strategy, such courses, marketing management, right? These are basic courses. The first semester happens at ISI Calcutta, where you are taught all the mathematics and statistical aspects. Then second semester is IIT Kharagpur, where you are taught all the technological things from coding to all machine learning, everything. Then third semester is at IIM Calcutta again, where you are taught different subjects of analytics, right? Then the final semester is internship. So after your IIM Calcutta, means actually during your IIM Calcutta, only during that time, you sit for your placements, for internship placements, and there you go to wherever like you get the role offered. Like I went to MasterCard for that 6 months period, and after like 2 or 3 months, I guess, or 4 months, I got the PPO at MasterCard. So we have a choice. If we want the PPO, then we can go ahead with the same organization. And if we want to sit for the final placements again, we can sit for the final placements as well. Now, this thing depends on year to year if such things are allowed or not. During my time, it was allowed that I the final, right? But whatever happens during your time, right? Because there is a committee. If it allows you to sit for any company, you can, because I think such things have happened after my batch that you can sit for any company. But I don't know that during your time what happens, right? So if you get, I got the PPO, I decided I want to continue with MasterCard, so I continued, right? If you don't want to continue, then, or if you don't get the PPO, then you can sit for final placements. And whatever you studied in or whatever your experience was in this final semester, final placement, you need to submit a report to the college. Anything else, guys? Anything which I was going to talk about, I have missed? Any question which is not answered? Preparation. Oh, so see, during the internship phase, some organizations host competitions or case studies, right? So or there is CV shortlist also. Okay, so for some, it depends on the organization what they want to do. If we all submit our CVs and if our CV gets shortlisted, we can sit directly for interview. And in the interview, it depends on the role and the organization, right? So for MasterCard, there was a case study, and we all submitted the case study, and based on that, the selection was there. And then we sat for interview, and in the interview, majority of the things we prepare are about data science, machine learning, statistics, and how these things are used at in the respective organization. Try to figure out from internet, right? And yeah, basics of their, how the organization, what is the business model, how it is used. But during the interview, as you know, that whatever anyone prepares, it's less only, right? During the interview, anything like some weird questions can be asked, some case study based questions are asked. So we also do prepare for case study based questions. You can find the case book of I am Ahmedabad or I am Calcutta, right? We also prepare that. We also prepare for guess estimates. You can find guess estimates on Geek for Geeks. We prepare that. We prepare probability statistics, everything, whatever we have studied. Okay. Yep. It doesn't matter that what subjects you opt for, because it's a big CV, and what projects you have done is also very important, right? Let's say if you want to get into finance and like economics, so you must do some regression based projects, right? If someone wants to go into some core data science, so he or she must do some kind of deep learning based projects or NLP based projects, right? Let's say if someone wants to go to Flipkart or eBay, Amazon, so he must do some NLP kind of project. And you, if the interviewer sees, oh, you have done NLP project, so you need to explain that project, and questions will be asked from that project, right? If you have participated in some data science competition and won some competitions, they can ask that questions as well. But if you have participated, means if you have cracked some case study, right, of the majority of the questions, like I was also selected for organization by clearing their case study, data science case competition, and majority of the questions were asked on the case competition only, not from the profile. So it depends. Any other question, guys?
Hi Ashish, Naveen here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've dropped due to some network issue. Upon the questions like which I posted earlier, if you have not picked.
Yeah, can you tell me like what were your questions? Because I cannot see it in the chat.
Like I'm having around 5 years of experience. Like formal education background is into electrical engineering. Way back in 2019, I did a post-graduation diploma, but like that didn't give it. It's a 1 year online kind of executive.
Yeah.
Yes. So first
So
question
what
is
is
like
your
for a career advancement, general management, like bit confused, like go with CAT and general management or this PGDBA
Okay.
to aspire
Yeah.
for the roles of a product owner or like an analytics manager or something.
Right. So see, I answered this question. I'll again repeat it for you. That see, if you are interested in tech, you're slightly tech savvy, right? You like coding. You are interested in learning coding. Okay. You are interested in data, seeing data, right? And solving problems using data, right? Because after doing PGDBA, no one is directly going to put you into like directly into product manager, right? Because for that domain, you are the beginner right now. Think from those aspects as well. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you will not get placed in some senior roles, right? You can get placed into the senior role according to your work experience, but might not be a product manager. Okay, because it takes time to get that experience also. But I'm not guaranteeing that it will happen, right? I cannot guarantee, okay, because such roles are very rare in PGDBA. Okay. Next, you should go for MBA or you should go for PGDBA. In a long-term basis, what will be beneficial, right? Even
Long-term
if,
career growth and ROI as well.
right. So ROI wise, I guess means PGDBA is better. Okay. Because think about this, there are only 60 students, right? Average of 60 and average of 400, 500 students. And I'll tell you that I have worked with a lot of MBA folks. I'm working and in the industry, okay, PGDBA has a different respect. So this is what I have to say. But you should do PGDBA only when you are interested in analytics and solving problem using data. You should, and solving problem using data means you have to learn coding. Okay. And there are different kind of role. Either you go for a core techie role or a slightly techie and slightly analytics or people facing role, right? These two kind of roles are offered majorly, right? So future point of view, I I cannot answer that in which degree or college it has more scope. Scope is created by you, right? The degree or syllabus or any field doesn't create scope. Scope, you have to create the scope. If you are made for MBA, you are going to enjoy MBA, then you should go for MBA, right? But if you want to be, if you like data, like there is a feeling to solve problem using data. You like data cleaning, you like to get insights from the data, right? You have that passion, then go for PGDB. Okay. So you're understanding, right? I'm not distinguishing this based on roles. Okay, a product manager in one organization is very different from a product manager in other organization. But at the start of your career in analytics, you should be passionate about this thing. Okay. And coding is important. I don't want to like uh, lie here, but it is important. You cannot solve anything. You cannot do anything if you don't know coding. And it will be taught to you in the course. But for that, you should be ready to learn. If you are not ready to learn, it becomes very difficult. And see, these profiles, they are very, means, I don't know. Few years back, there was something that it is the sexiest job of the 21st century. 21st century has just begun, right? And the job is getting more sexier. So that is what I can say.
So even in my organization, if I see like if they're an MBA from an IIM, like they're forced to like get into generative AI. Like at that time
Just
at
think, yeah,
35,
just think
40, yeah,
about this.
they have
Just
to
think
adopt
about
it.
this. They have to adapt it. And if you are in PGDBA, you will not just learn that how to make use of generative AI. You will learn how this generative AI, what are the workings of generative AI. I will tell you, during my days of PGDBA, we were learning about GPT-2, GPT-3 models. Okay. And we were laughing about the results which GPT-3 used to give.
Yeah.
Okay. Now see what has happened. Okay. So that is, you must be ready. You must have passion to learn these things. And future is of analytics. The problem in the industry today is that lot of candidates are doing certificates, coursework, and they are calling themselves as data scientists or data science enthusiasts, right? And the organizations are not able to figure out that who is the real person. Okay. And the organizations themselves don't know if they need any kind of data science or AI for their organization. They are just blindly, oh, we are also AI organization. Okay. So sometimes what happens, I have interviewed data science folks as well. So they have said they have not done any kind of data science. Okay. But they are a data scientist designation wise. Because in their organization, it was not required only, but they hired data scientists. But if you have done PGDBA, right, you are in the like at the very top level, right? You will go into the main field only. That's why the placements are different, right? And there is a matching problem in the industry, in the data science industry. But if you are in PGDBA, everyone knows what is PGDBA, right?
True, Ashish.
But it's on
Thank
you now. If you are
we need to
passionate or if you are passionate about MBA, right, then you can go ahead and your career will be fabulous after doing MBA if you are passionate about it, right? But you should be passionate about data if you want to data and solving problems, difficult problems, right? Using data, and that is what is required for PGDB. And PGDB will train you. You will be trained. I guarantee that.
So you say even when we compare in terms of ROI, like the average package or whatever it is offered after like same from an MBA from IIM and PGDBA will
It
be
is
equally
not
competent.
same. It is not equal. It is more than that.
Oh, okay.
Because just think that you only mentioned, right? Even after doing an MBA, they are insisting on upskilling after MBA, right? So even if let's say ROI wise PGDB and MBA is same, but for an MBA that person needs to upskill more after MBA as well.
Again.
So it's not equal, right? But for a PGDBA, you are an expert. Think about this. You don't need to upskill now. Because you will be connected to the industry so much that you already know.
True. And hope those a few parts of like maybe strategy or consulting will be taught in that IAM phase in Kolkata, right?
Yes, it will be taught. It will be. That's why, because these, you cannot code for life, right? You will go into some different roles in the future. Okay. And that basics, you must That's why you can go, but you have to shape your career, right? There
True, true,
is,
Ashish.
you
Got
cannot
it.
plan it 10 years ahead, because in between, what if you came across something which is more better than what you anticipate?
Hmm. Okay. So
You're
Ashish,
getting the
one
point,
last
right?
question
Yeah.
is yes, I'm into it. So one last question is like about the credentials of PGDBA. Let's say if I want to, pursue some leadership role in the long run, like obviously I see like a few directors or VPs have, more credentials like a PhD. So this is equivalent, PGDBA is equivalent to MBA, like in
Yes, yes.
terms of if we expect an
There are,
international immersion.
no, no,
International
no, no.
immersion is there within the
Yes,
schools.
yes, yes. Yes. There are students, there are batchmates who have, after PGDB, also gone for a PhD, right? In
Okay.
data science. There are students, but it is not required. Okay. VP, or you can work at a VP and director level. You can just search. There are folks in leadership positions.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. There are folks in leadership positions.
Okay, Ashish. So
See, just think
one.
about it in these terms.
Hmm.
10 batches, 60 students. So there are only 600 folks, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And still I'm saying that there are people in leadership positions. Whereas in MBA on one batch only, for one college, it is 400 students.
Hmm.
Scarcity creates demand, right?
Hmm. I hope the same curriculum or like demand is with the IAM Bangalore PGPBA also, right?
No, 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 no. Same curriculum is not
Okay. I mean the exam preparation strategy.
there. No, no, no. For that, you need to prepare for CAT, right?
CAT or GRE GMAT. I think.
Right. So it is very different. What I'm saying is, if you are very serious about solving problems using data, PGDBA is the course for.
Okay.
And
Okay, Ashish.
ROI, add everything to that. PGDBA is. There are other good courses also, right? You can
Hmm.
find. There are other courses, MTech data science, MSc data science, but the ROI is not comparable to PGDBA.
Yeah, I have. I've even like actually tried to give an attempt last year, but it's very short in time. I approached only PGDB only. I have a couple of alumni as well in my network. I tried this time. Maybe I'll get into it. So one last thing, like I mean, with the 5 years of experience, I did a post graduation diploma that is 1 year executive. Maybe if I can just skip that to avoid the complex questions
So I'll tell
that will be
you,
posed in the core, right?
people have done MBAs. After MBA also they have done PhD.
Okay, okay.
If you want, you can use it for your advantages.
Mhm.
Okay.
So maybe like looking into the diversity, I have experience with go-to-market in generative AI data science. So that will add a better position, right? Like to stand out maybe
Right.
rather than
Right.
proving technically and screwing up.
Right.
Okay, Ashish, thank you very much for your time and information. Maybe I'll connect with you on LinkedIn and get the
Sure, sure.
offerings from. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Before joining PGDBA, if someone has a prior job experience, will they get any advantage over those who are freshers during the placements? Acha, during the placements, obviously they will get, right? Obviously, people who have experience will get advantage over freshers. That doesn't mean that freshers will not get placed. Okay. Srimonti, are you a fresher?
No.
Yeah, Srimonti, are you a fresher?
Yeah, actually, I just got placed in Accenture and I'm yet to join. So I'm planning for appearing for PGDBA next year.
Okay.
So I'll be
Okay.
having just a few months of experience. I'm supposed to join by October.
Okay. So, like, I'm telling you that it doesn't matter if you're a fresher or experienced. Okay,
Okay.
you will get placed, and you will
Okay.
get placed with similar package, so you have an advantage. So don't think like, but the number of freshers will be less, right? I
Right.
think there is a, for diversity, they take 2 to 3 freshers,
Okay.
right? And if you are lucky enough to crack, so don't worry about not getting placed just because you are a fresher. No, don't worry.
Okay. Because I was seeing the stats, so they said that there was 100% placement. So this is nothing to worry about, right? I mean, because I
No,
won't
no,
be
no,
having
no.
as many projects and all.
No, no, no. Doesn't matter. There are organizations who want means they think that, oh, we don't want someone from 5 to 8 years of work experience. We want someone fresh. And
Okay.
see, as I mentioned, there are case studies and business competitions also. Okay, so
Okay.
you can crack that. So don't worry just because you are a fresher.
Okay.
I consider that as an advantage.
Okay.
You are competing with folks who have average age more than you, right?
Right. Right.
You have an advantage. Even
Okay.
if you get less package than them, after few years you will be ahead of them,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
So don't worry about placements.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Okay. So guys, finishing this session off by letting you guys know about I have emphasizes more on why the interview, starting to prepare for interview is very important, right? And starting preparation early is very important. And I know that your exams are still remaining, but after the exams, I have observed that people are not prepared, right? So they are not prepared with the basics of statistics and mathematics. They are not confident on the definitions. They are not confident on the applications of how it is basically applied, right? So it is very necessary to prepare prior for the interview and give some time to it, right? So that's why in the complete care interview plan, there are basically you will get recorded maths classes, statistics classes, your analytics classes as well. You have current affairs, right? You can test your interview knowledge. That you have MCQ test, right? You'll get live sessions by PGDBA students who are current students and PGDBA alumni, right? We'll get everything in that basic recorded sessions, right? And I would like to give you guys a glimpse of about how it looks and what all content is there. So in the interview plan, basically, you can see that you have previous year's interview content for PGDBA, what all things were covered. You can just, I'll pause here and you can just go through, okay, what all content it has, or I'll just quickly explain you guys that first in there are videos that how students cracked in the first attempt, what was the journey, right? Uh, exam by how to crack PGDBA exam interview, like how to prepare for math, stats, all the knowledge, whatever you can have, right, is basically there in the recorded forms. Okay. Next, important PDFs are already uploaded. Okay. What is the must start, interview experiences, okay, uh, what happened in 2021, statistics part, practice questions, graphing function. So all the materials required you have in PDF form. You can go through that, already uploaded everything. Then you have some important sessions for PGDBA interview, which has expectations of professors, right? How to follow this course, then why PGDBA, right? Why PGDBA by different students, right? How to answer that question basically. We have lot of materials, dress codes, interview ethics, guess estimates, like applications of analytics in different industry, advanced analytics if you want. Like, so it has, as I explained you guys about two different profiles, what analytics folk must know, what a person from non-analytics must know. All materials are basically uploaded in PDF as well as video form, whichever is beneficial for the student. There are my lectures as well about linear algebra basics. Okay, you can go through that. Then there is mathematics for interview sessions by different teachers who are basically PGDBA alumni only, right? And you can just watch the video prior, because during the interview phase, what happens, you don't get, see, it has so much of content, and it becomes very difficult for a student to go through during the interview, because if you are if you are working, then you are going to your office, then you are coming, then you are watching the video, then you are preparing for your specific profile based questions also, right? There was a candidate last year who was not comfortable, right? And then basically she took a personal care uh, package. She was under me basically. So I took her mock like every day. Okay. She is in, and she got comfortable with her own profile. So such preparation will also be required if you're not a confident candidate, right? And that time becomes very difficult. So that's why these basic concepts you must know prior. Okay. Then you have statistics for interview as well. The book which I was mentioning is already here. You can go through that. It is one of the best book if you want to prepare at the last moment, right? Uh, it is actual statistics book. It is very good book, right? There are some keywords which you need to know for stats interview, right? There are lectures by different professors, right? So it's very important to know prior. Then there is finally current affairs, whatever you need, right? It gets updated here, and you can go and read about which is in PDF. Okay, so this was about the complete care plan. And if you go through all these materials prior, right, and if you get selected, okay, so if you get selected, then it's very easy for you to go through these interview mocks, right, which are by different people, right, after you clear the exam. If you don't clear the exam, then this fees basically will be refunded to you because you are not passed, right? But if you pass, then what happens is your basics are covered and you are ready here. Okay, you are ready here because I take the stress interview, and what I observed was the students' basics were not clear. Then again they have to go and read the basics and then come back and give stress. So it becomes difficult for the student only that how much he or she is prepared. So it's always a good thing that you come with your preparation to give the mocks. You don't give the mock and then prepare. The strategy is, it becomes very difficult. And on top of that, you are working, going to office. So time management also becomes an issue, right? So you have 8 mocks in this package, but you will get this after you pass the exam. If you don't crack the exam, then this basically whatever the fees is, it will get refunded, right? Yeah. Anything you want me to cover, any doubts, guys?
Sorry, Akash, I couldn't get that refund policy. And is this the only course that is available, like extensive care or any?
No, so this is for interview, right? Okay. So in this interview is for exams as well, right? But this is only for interview, right? So in this interview, you will get this or everything recorded. It will get updated, whatever let's say current affairs is there, right? Okay. But what I'm suggesting is that you must know these concepts prior. Okay, beforehand itself, and it takes around 30 days to do it. Okay, so let's say if someone starts from today, 11th August. So it takes around 1 month to go through and prepare for these time of entrance exam. Because during the entrance exam, let's say in the month of December, no need to do this because you need to prepare the exam. And you need to wait for your results. The basic concepts you already know, right? You can decide after you have cracked the exam. But let's say you have gone through everything, and let's say you have okay, whatever but if you crack, and there is a plan also which is a special care plan. That special care basis, right? As I mentioned, are very they need some extra boost, extra sessions. So it is a special care plan. Okay, for interview, not for written exam. In this, you will get okay, what different people. You will get 30 minutes interview with Shailesh, with PGDBA folks, with statistics and analytics folks by maths faculty, right? You will get here HR interview as well. I'll take stress interview, 8 different interviews you get.
So the exam preparation, do we have live sessions?
For interview preparations,
Exam.
Are this will only help you to crack. For the exam plan, there are other plans. This is only for interview. So why to tell this is because right now you're not preparing for interview. Okay, you are preparing only for exam. So it doesn't make sense that you are exam preparation takes hardly 1 to 2. Once the result is out, the time period for students is very, very less to cover all these concepts which I am showing here. Okay, so they are not prepared there. You're understanding the point, because what is the meaning of preparation? Preparation means you get the feedback also here, right? So by getting the feedback, you need to work on that as well. So what if you get the feedback 1 or 2 days prior to your interview? So there is no time for you to change your preparation. We will test you here for preparation. And also many candidates are working, so it becomes very difficult for them to manage everything. It becomes very difficult. Okay. Entrance is important, but interview is more important. Interview is make or break. Okay. Any Okay, guys, if you don't have any questions, thank you. Thank you for joining and all the best for your exams and interview. Take care.